First, the whole process with Windows Autopilot begins with you uploading your hardware information to the cloud, that means to Intune. So there are two approaches to uploading your hardware information. One would be to manually export it as a CSV file, go to your Intune and upload it. The second approach would be to use the get Windows Autopilot info dash online PowerShell script to upload it. But for you to use the latter, you need a global admin credential because this requires connection to Microsoft Graph. So we'll begin with the first approach, which involves exporting your hardware information as a CSV file and uploading it to Intune. To begin with the autopilot deployment, the first phase will be to import the hardware ID of the machine you want to export to the cloud. I'll go to the machine and open PowerShell. Make a directory. I'm going to specify C drive and the name is going to be HWID, that's hardware ID. So the next thing I'm going to set that as my working directory and I'm going to call it as same HWID. So the next command will be to set my execution policy for my PowerShell script to be unrestricted policy, unrestricted. So the next will be to install the autopilot script. So sometimes you might have issues installing the script, but of course there's always help on the internet which you can use to resolve that. Windows Autopilot info, so that's the name of the module. And after installing the install, we are going to use it to get the hardware ID and convert it to a CSV file. Autopilot info, and then the output is just going to be output file into be device.csv, device id.csv. So let's be sure we are good. So we can go to the location of where we have the HWID folder and then we can see the device.csv file. For you to use the PowerShell script to upload it, you still have to use this module we just installed, which is get Windows Autopilot info dash Windows Autopilot info, and then I'm going to add a flag which is online. So once I click on it, so here we are going to add an admin credential, so I'm just going to type it. Okay, we can see device imported successfully. So let's go back to the portal to find out. So I'm just going to log into Intune. So we are signing with an administrative account, so I'm going to go to device. On that device we go to device onboarding and then click on enrollment. So we scroll down to the Windows Autopilot section. The first thing we look at is the device. So when you get to on the device page, you get to see the device that you've imported, either via the Windows Autopilot dash online or via import. So let's say you didn't use the script to import it automatically. You can use the import option. Just click import and select the location of your CSV file by using the folder. So we already have the device onboarded. So the next thing I'm going to do is to select it and assign it to a user. So I'll browse through the user I want to use. So for instance, I want to use MOD. So I'm going to select that and then hit select. So the property page is going to open up and I'm just going to click save. So I have the option to rename the name of the user, add a device name, and then add a tag if I want to. So I'm just going to click on save. So that is updated. So I can click on the property to view options on it. So let me go back. So now that we've had a device, let's go back to device and then go to deployment profile. So to create a deployment profile, you hit the create button and select the device. We want to create a deployment profile for a Windows device, so I'm going to name that Windows Autopilot deployment. So I'm going to copy that for the description as well. So remember, your deployment profile is a list of things that is going to happen during the deployment process. So I'm just going to click on next to go to the out of the box experience. So the out of the box experience allows you configure what a user experience during the onboarding process. So the first thing will be the deployment mode. You want to choose whether it's a self-driven or a user-driven. So I'm just going to go with the option of user-driven. So you have the option to either decide whether the user join and try it in during that onboarding process. If you have a hybrid environment, you can also select our options and then decide whether you want to skip connectivity to your on-prem infrastructure or something. So you can hide the privacy during the out of the box experience process. And of course, we are prepping this device for an administrator, so we'll just go with the administrator option. For this, we are going to click no, and then for the language, I just want to go with English, United States. Keyboard, I just want it to be automatic, and for instance, I have a device naming template in my environment. I can choose that and then specify what's the naming convention in my environment. So I'm just going to click no, and then next. Under assignment, I'm going to assign to all device. So next, I'm going to review that, and I'm going to create. So successful. I'm going to go back, and then if I go to my deployment profile, I see my Windows Autopilot deployment, so I can click on it to view the property. Last on the list is the enrollment status page, which shows the end users the status of various provisioning happening on the background during the deployment process. So of course, you can either decide to go with the default, or you create an enrollment status page based on what works for your organization. So you can give it a name, Windows Auto. Under the settings, for me to get more configuration, I'm going to click yes on this, and I have the options to configure all of these configurations based on what works in my organization. So once I have that, I can decide to either assign it to a group of user or assign it to all devices. Say for instance, in our case, we just have a single device. We can use that to add it to that device, and if there's a scope, we can decide to scope it to a particular fraction. And lastly, we can review and create. No problem. We are on the machines that we want to run Windows Autopilot with. But before you begin, it's always advised that for you to boot up a machine using Windows Autopilot, first the machine must be in a generalized state, and there are two approaches to doing that on a Windows level machine. First option would be to use the sysprep window arrow and then do sysprep. So on the sysprep folder, you can click on sysprep, and here you're going to add the box experience, which is this, and then I'm going to do shutdown. So you can use this option to generalize your machine or do a system cleanup action, or alternatively you can use the reset option, which this PC option, which comes with Windows 11 machine. So we'll just go with the later, which is this. I'm going to do the reset PC, and I'm going to remove everything. So of course, if you are getting the machine newly from from a vendor, the hardware vendor is going to do all of this. So I'm just going to go with restore Windows from the by cloud download. So of course we already know that this is a computer for an organization, so it's going to prompt me to enter the password, and you can see the company logo here already specified. So I'm going to enter the password. I'm just going to skip for now, and that's it. So if we go to Windows X, so if we go to our system, and then we go to our account. So now account, I'm going to go to my work at school account, and we'll see that it's connected to Enter ID, and then it's connected to the organization, which was what we specified during Windows Autopilot. So that's Microsoft Autopilot. Of course, if you have applications that you've added to your added to Intune, so they all will be replicated here such that they installed alongside uh, your installation process. So thank you all. Yeah.